Hello class. Here I will show you how to solve some of the problems assigned in your homework from the System of Equations worksheet. Now I've labeled the number problem on each one, and hopefully after solving these I'll give you an idea of how to work on these problems. So starting with problem number 2 up there, I have to remember that I'm looking at the form of y equals mx plus b. If you notice each one of these problems, I have it in this form, okay? So the number multiplied right next to the x, the coefficient next to the x, is your m. And then the constant out here by itself is b, okay? Now m is your slope, so I'm gonna write that down. M equals slope, and b equals y-intercept. Your y-intercept is where on the graph it crosses this y-axis. So let's begin. So starting with this top function here, I'm going to start off with my y-intercept, or my b, which is a positive 1. And it's always going to be that way. I'm always going to start with b. So in this case, the top one, my b is 1, a positive 1. So that is where I'm going to start my point. I'm always going to start with my b. So there it goes. It's positive 1, right? This is positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. This is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and so on. Now, my slope is negative 5 over 3, which is rise over run. Now, one of those numbers has to be negative. So I have a 5 over 3. Let's put the negative on the 5. So that means I'm going to rise a negative 5, meaning if it's a negative, I'm going to go 5 units down. So starting from the point that I started with, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to run 3 units to the right because it's a positive 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then I can find the other point that's over here by going up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to go left because one of those has to be a negative. So if I went up 5, that was a positive 5. So that means my 3 has to be negative. So I'm going to move 3 units to the left. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So I have a line there. Now for the second one, I'm going to start at negative 3 because that's my b. So negative 3, 1, 2, 3. That is where I place my point. Now I'm going to rise a negative 1 and move 3 units to the right. 1, 2, 3. So at the same spot where the other point was placed at. If I want to go one more point this way, I'm going to go up 1. And since I went up 1, that made it a positive 1. That means my 3 has to be negative. So I'm going to move left 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? I draw my line there. So my point where they meet, this is has one solution. So it's consistent and independent there, and that is at my x is 3. 1, 2, 3, right? And my y is 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's down here, so that's a negative 4. So this would be my answer for number 2. Now I'm going to choose a different color here and solve this one. I'm going to start with a positive 1, right? That's my b. So positive 1. I'm going to start here at that 1. Then my slope is a negative 1. So this is a negative 1 over 1, right? Because it's just negative x. So negative 1 over 1 is a negative 1. So I'm going to rise a negative 1. So that means I'm going to go down 1 and then move to the right 1 because that's a positive 1 on the bottom. Okay? So as you can tell, I'm going to every unit, I'm going to move down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1, and so on. I could go up 1 to the left 1 also, up 1 to the left 1, and so on. Okay? And here, I have x equals 3. Now, this is different because it doesn't have a y. So what this means is that for every value on that line, my x will equal 3. Okay? In other words, whatever, if you have this and you have no slope and just that, a number by itself, you're going to draw a straight line through that axis. So if it says x equals 3, I'm going to, at x equals 3, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to draw a line straight down. So here we go. Okay, this is x equals 3, okay? Meaning at any of these points, even if it's a y1, it's still going to be 3. y2, still going to be 3. y3, still going to be 3. So that's why x equals 3 there. Now, we're going to have to see where they meet. They meet here, okay? So that is one solution, and it's consistent and independent. So here, what are my points there? My points here, I'm going to write it here. That point meets at, my x is 1, 2, 3. Positive 3. My y on here for this point is 1, 2. And it's on the bottom, so it's a negative. So negative 2. And that is my answer for problem number 3 on your homework. Hopefully this helps a bit, and you're able to understand the material covered in this homework. Thank you.